2 minutes 53.
Was it in the game?
Yeah.
Googled him afterwards.
Bob Hope. So, last session. Firstly, welcome. A little bit later than usual due to a minor server hitch caused by the keeper/DM getting a bit overzealous with clicking things that he shouldn't have been clicking. So we've had to have a rebuild, but we're all good. So, probably won't be a break tonight, and due to tiredness and things, we'll probably end around 10 o'clock this evening, UK time. That is loud in my ears.
Yes, it is in mine as well.
Okay. I've got 2 volumes. I've got a playlist global volume and then an individual song volume. So I've turned them both down. So by way of recap, the group, under the employ of one Janet Winston Rogers, have found themselves in the southern town of Savannah, Georgia. The date is approximately November 3rd, 1934. We start the morning at 9:06 a.m., roughly speaking, as the group are finishing breakfast and making plans for their second full day of exploration and investigation in Savannah. Yesterday, the group attempted to gain access to the Henslow residence, but only to be turned away politely but forcefully by, turns out to be Carruthers, the Henslow's groundskeeper, who told you that Mother Henslow was not seeing any guests, and he would only open the doors if you got permission from Douglas Henslow, fully expecting that to be very difficult for you to do. You headed to the Savannah Sanatorium, where you spoke with Douglas Henslow, and you learned at the same time that there was also another member or another individual who had participated in the 1924 incident in the barn outside of Los Angeles, one Edgar Job. Or Job, depending on how you pronounce it, but Job, I would say, is the correct pronunciation. You interrogated or interviewed, should I say, both of them, and learn a good deal more information about what happened that fateful day in 1924. How a number of Winston Winston. Well, I forgot his name. Winston Walters? No. Winston. Walter Winston. That's right. Yeah, how Walter Winston and his group had met the cultists and tried to break up whatever it was they were doing, resulted in a lot of death, fire, and something that Job called Golgoroth, the thing with 1,000 mounds, being set free. Although Keaton, the doctor, not the head honcho, but sort of second in command at the hospital, kind of dismissed it as a mere fantasy made up to justify the actions of that particular day. After you finished interviewing both of them, I believe, Alfred, you saw something strange in the plasterwork It appeared to look a little bit like a mouth to you. But you kind of dismissed it after a moment or two after kind of examining it. Not quite sure whether it was just stains in the plaster due to the water or something more realistic. You headed back to town. You headed back to the hotel. You had dinner. You chatted through the things that you wanted to do. You went to sleep, and then we wake the following day with you ready to do something.
Yes, indeed. I'm assuming we've had breakfast.
Yeah, it's about 9:05 in the morning at this point.
Well, we need to head over to the house, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we decided go there first, find out everything we can, and then if we need to do any library work, then we come back to the library and do it all in at once.
We're going to look for this hidden diary workbook. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll go down to reception and get a driver.
Okay. Yep. You managed to secure the same driver as you secured yesterday.
I'll take my camera with me this time and binoculars, just make it
Okay.
easier than searching.
Outside, the weather is... Well, the weather has turned from the gentle, steady rains of yesterday to a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
You can hear in the far distance the rolling of thunder. As you go out to the car, your driver, let's have a look. Let's give the guy a name because you're kind of using him a little bit frequently now. I can see you can hear the thunder rolling in the background. His name is Charles. Charles Tooton. A middle-aged gentleman, probably in his late 40s. Well turned out. It seems to be, all about the experience. He asks you how each of you are, whether you slept well, and then kind of drives in silence unless you ask him questions. His comment to you as you're getting into the car is, we're in for a thunderstorm today. And kind of as he says that, you kind of hear that distant peal of thunder. He said it'll be coming up from the south.
Thank you, Charles. It does seem to be getting a little bit more refreshing.
Indeed. He says, well, that time of the year, sir. So where are we going today, sirs, madam?
Back to 23
Old something road.
Old Hope Road, please.
Old Hope Road. Very good, sirs. Shall we? And he kind of puts the car into gear and sort of sets off. The journey, as you remember, the journey is, it's not too long. It takes about 40 or so minutes. The roads are a little bit muddier, a little bit wetter than they were yesterday. And that kind of humidity is indeed cooling off, getting to a more palatable sort of temperature, probably about 14 or 15 degrees. So still warm. So the journey takes about 45 minutes. So by the time you've got through town and driven out to Old Hope Road, it's getting on for 10 a.m. in the morning. Once again, you can see the property ahead of you. As you remember, the grounds surrounded by a 6-foot-high stone wall capped with wrought iron spikes. At the main gate, there is a bell. which you know to ring, and Carruthers will come out and greet you. The house itself stands proud amidst the greenery and the mud. It's a classic plantation house with tall, shuttered windows and towering columns ringing bulging porches and balconies.
Once we get out, I'm going to say to Charles here, once we're through the gate, Charles, feel free to go and get something to eat or wander around, whichever, but be back here in an hour and a half, perhaps.
1 hour and a half, says? Okay, I can do that.
I don't think we'll have got much done in an hour and a half.
No, I don't.
By the time he's got to anywhere worth going,
It'll be
maybe 4 hours.
As Ralph says, yes, make it 4 hours, and please, Charles.
Very well, sir. 4 hours it is. I will see you back here about 2 o'clock.
Wonderful, Charles. And when you come back, don't worry about keeping the engine running. Just toot your horn to let you know we're here.
Very good, sir. You all climb out. That smell, that wet soil marsh smell, kind of assails your nostrils. Possibly even a little bit stronger than it was yesterday, perhaps due to the amount of rainwater that's kind of washed over the area in the last sort of 24 hours. Giant palmetto bugs flit through the air, tapping against the windshield and the windows and the roof of the car, kind of gives way to you all starting to get wet. The trees around you, you can see sort of Spanish moss dangling from the leaves, from the trees, and the leaves and seeds begin to dance in the pre-storm breeze that's starting to kind of build up momentum and tempo. It's very much a desolate area. There's not a huge amount. You've passed, obviously, a bunch of other houses, but this far down, glancing around, this could well be the last house before the road snakes off and disappears into the marsh proper. You ringing the bell?
Yep.
Okay, you ring the bell and you wait. And Joseph, you know this time to wait patiently. And sure enough, after maybe 4 minutes, 5 minutes, you can see Carruthers kind of walking, possibly from the house actually, towards you, again, shotgun cradled in hand. 3 dogs yapping and barking. Well, not yapping because they're not yappy dogs. 3 dogs kind of stalking alongside of him, probably mastiffs or something similar to that. Definitely sort of trained hunting dogs. As he sees you at the gate, he kind of, all right, back again, are you? Mother Henslow's still not feeling well and not up to visitors, sir. I pray you haven't wasted your time yet again.
I don't think so. We have a note from
Mr.
Douglas.
Henslow.
Yeah, Douglas. Sorry, Master Douglas.
A note, you say?
And who had the note? Was it?
You asked for someone to get the paper, didn't you, sir?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure who you gave it to.
But I'm assuming we took.
You.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's Ralph.
Yeah, I thought it was Ralph. No? Oh no, it was.
It was you.
Yeah, I thought it was you, Maddie.
Oh, sorry. Okay. In which case, I will pass this the note through to Carruthers.
I've got wet cat on my knee. You pass the note over, and he takes his time to kind of undo it, and he reads through it. And then he kind of fishes around in his top pocket, pulls out his kind of nose spectacles, puts them on his nose, and reads it again. Ah. So, you saw Master Henslow, you say, yesterday. And how is the Master? Is he keeping well?
He seems healthy.
Ah, very good. I'm sure Mother would be very much interested to learn all about your visit and how he was, and his general state of mind, well-being. Please. No vehicle today, sir?
No, we'd let him go for the moment.
Okay. Well, he pauses for a second. Storm's on its way. Let's hope it won't last too long. Anyway, he kind of pulls out of kind of his jacket pocket. He puts his hand in, and out comes a couple of shells, and he transfers them to his other pocket, and then he pulls out a small key. Well, not a small key. It's about this kind of size, key about that kind of size. That he puts into the gate, and there's a big clunk, and then he pulls with a big screeching sound. The gate, clearly not having seen any oil for a while, kind of as it opens. Please, let's head up to the house. And as you kind of all pass through, he closes the door with a bit of a clunk as the door closes, and you hear that click as the lock turns. For a fleeting moment, you all feel trapped all of a sudden inside like this kind of locked outer kind of fortress. But he takes you up to the house, and he opens the door. Mother Henslow, it's only Carruthers. We have guests today. Guests of Master Henslow. Please, come through. And he takes you through to, so if you can see the map, he will take you upstairs to this place. Oh, I don't have ping. I've got ping enabled. So to the sleeping porch at the very back of the house.
Oh, yes, top of the map.
Yeah, and in the sleeping porch, sort of in the sleeping area, you can see Mother Henslow. She's kind of she's kind of half laid, half propped up in a bed. A sort of a tabby, gingery cat kind of curled up next to her, paw kind of on her leg. She kind of looks up a little bit, sort of not so much feebly, well, sort of, yeah, kind of feebly. And the lightning gets louder. Sorry, the thunder gets louder. And for a moment, there's that crash of thunder, and you realise that she was dozing, and as the thunder goes off, she kind of, her eyes flare open, and she kind of looks around for a second, slightly dazed and confused as to where she is. And Mother Henslow, Carruthers says, No, Mother, everything is, what are you doing? Everything is fine, it's just a thunderstorm. It'll be past soon. These are the guests I called up about. They visited Master Henslow yesterday in the hospital. She kind of feebly nods, and she kind of looks over at you. And she sort of says, "And how is Douglas? Is he well?"
He is. Physically, he seems very well. Very lucid.
No more episodes?
No, he didn't have any more episodes.
Oh, well, that is good to hear. What brings you to my house? I've not had visitors for a while. I can't get up, you see. The old legs have given way on me finally.
We were asked to find something of Douglas's while he put in the house.
Well, it's been such a while since I've had visitors. Carruthers, perhaps you could make tea for our guests. Yeah? Would you like tea, madam, gentlemen?
Yes, please.
Very well. And bring whatever cake that we have in the house. He kind of nods. Perhaps you will just give an old woman a little bit of your time. Tell me about the world outside. I read a few things here and there, you see, and you can see there's a small stack of newspapers. The top one has a date of October 23rd. Looks like she probably hasn't seen a current newspaper for the last sort of 7 or 8 days. And Carruthers kind of, I'll bring some more chairs in. One moment, please. And for the next 5 minutes or so, he kind of shuttles backwards and forwards and brings in 3 more chairs. Yep.
Question: what's the sleeping porch?
Very much what you hear is kind of, it would be open to the elements. So instead of having fixed windows, it might be windows that are shuttered only, so that you could throw the shutters open.
I get it. Yeah.
Like a bedroom with an open balcony.
Yeah. This would be kind of almost like the open balcony.
But the shutters would be for because the climate.
Correct. Yeah.
How do you open the map again? Mine's disappeared.
Which map? Sorry.
The one you had the plan of the house minutes ago.
Okay, so if you go to the icon at the top of the screen, on the right hand side, you should have an icon that looks like a book.
Yeah.
If you click on that, you should see possibly a bunch of folders like Part 2 - Savannah, Georgia.
I've got Act 1, Part 0, and that's as far as it shows.
Okay.
Same with me.
So you haven't got anywhere a map of the Henslow's residence.
Well, I have it on the screen because I didn't close it.
Yeah, I closed mine.
Okay, hold on. Now you should see it.
Nope. All I'm saying is the background map of the industrial locations of Savannah, Georgia. I see Part 2, Savannah, Georgia now. Right, yeah.
And I think I've just given you access to everything. If you click on that, can you see everything?
I can see lots of things. Yeah.
Hospital.
I think there's lots of things that I shouldn't see.
But we're not going to click on random things, so we're all right.
Right. That should have gone now, so I should have taken that away from everybody, yeah?
No, I can still see some stuff from that.
Yep.
Right, you should be able to see that. So you should be able to see Edgar Job. You should be able to see that. Oh, I know what it's done.
Groundskeeper Frank, not Carruthers. Oh no, is that right? Yes.
Bear with me a second. I need to re-hide everything because that was stupid of me.
I've clicked on Henslow Residence because that's the one I was looking for.
Yeah.
But nothing else.
Yeah.
So that's opened up the map I was looking for.
Okay.
I've copied everything else from my hard drive so I can watch it at a future date.
That's fine. Yeah, apologies. This is what a friend of mine did when we were running Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. He opened it up to he was trying to work out how to give us all permissions, and then he ended up giving us access to everything in the folder, which was a little bit annoying. So I'm just hiding everything for now. Again, I know you've seen stuff.
Yeah, we've just seen titles.
Yeah, just titles.
Yeah. Well, I'll be able to test your knowledge later, Dart. If you get everything eerily correct, I'll know you clicked on something and you're pretending. Especially the thing called Henslow's box.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, ooh.
How do you think you get the information you need? You need to investigate Mother Henslow's box.
Oh, no.
No,
Anyway.
The other guys, the guys.
So, you... so 10 minutes or so further down the line, as I say, it sort of looks like she hasn't had any real news for the last 7-10 days.
I'll just go over, conversationally about things that have happened throughout the year, just in conversation. Not the last 10 days, but just going over the year.
Yeah, okay.
Because there's some big things,
Yeah.
John Dillinger, Bonnie and Clyde, they were all ended. The Loch Ness Monster was. I'll mention something from overseas. The Loch Ness Monster was sighted in Scotland. I read that in one of my articles. What else? Donald Duck. Has she seen any Donald Duck?
No.
It's a new Disney character that's been introduced this year.
Obviously, at the pictures, right? Nobody has TVs yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, dear. I've. It's been a while since I've been to the moving pictures. And Donald Duck, you say?
Yes. It's quite funny little duck.
Ah. Yeah, Mr. Disney seems to be building a reputation for himself for some of these moving animated cartoon things that he does.
Yeah, he's a little duck. Got a bit of a temper, but he's got a little blue sailor's outfit on.
And no pants.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And you said the Loch Ness Monster?
Yeah, I read that in one of my gazetteers that I get. And yeah, in Loch Ness Monster in Scotland.
Do you think it's real?
Who's to say? There are many strange things in this world that are unexplained.
Do you know what's really weird? Sorry, slightly out of game for a second. My light in here is flickering as the thunder's rolling in my headset.
Oh, the rain is that good. I just looked out the window to see if it was raining out there.
I was thinking the cat was scared of the lightning, but then I realised you got a headset on, so you can't hear it.
He's settled down on his blanket now. He's gone to sleep.
When the game breaks the fourth wall.
Any second now, Jean-Michel Jarre's going to kick in.
Yeah. The Carruthers brings the tea and some kind of biscuits. The biscuits are a little bit old. They're kind of on that turning stage. But, pleasantly, you spend a good hour or so in the ending conversation. She does ask a fair number of questions about Douglas. The thunderstorm starts to kind of reach overhead and get louder and louder. And then gradually, after sort of the hour or so, you can see that she's struggling to stay awake, that her head's nodding. Oh, forgive me. I'm feeling very tired. If my boy says it's okay, then you can have the run of the house. Just let Carruthers know if there's anything in particular you're looking for, but help yourself. I'm going to sleep for a while. Perhaps you'll pop by and say goodbye before you leave.
We certainly will.
Certainly.
And she kind of, at that point, Carruthers seems to almost materialise round the door. And you kind of get the sense that he was probably stood outside listening to the conversation. And he kind of comes in and he fluffs up her pillow and kind of lays her down gently. And he looks at each of you and he says, now you heard Mother Henslow. Our house is your house. Just please try not to break anything and don't disturb too much. If you need me, please let me know.
Indeed, Douglas did mention that you would know the location of something. A book that you put safe.
He looks a bit puzzled. How?
He wrote this book himself about what happened to him. That when he was with the Walter Winston, no, not Walter.
He shakes his head for a moment. What makes you think that I have the book?
Well, he said you know the location of it.
Perhaps in his study? Please. And he kind of directs you to this small bedroom, just to the right-hand side of the balcony area, the big bedroom. So as he kind of brings you down that corridor again, he sort of points to the bathroom, and he tells you that the next door, it's doing my head in that I can't ping, so I'll draw instead. So this, I can't draw on here. That's a bit rubbish, isn't it?
Is it the one on the left from the stairwell?
So the one on the left of the stairwell, the big bedroom, is Douglas Henslow's main bedroom. The one on the right, the little bedroom, the 10'8" by 11'5", is where Carruthers points to you and says that's his study.
Okay.
We haven't. He says that door's been kept closed ever since the last episode that Master Henslow suffered.
Okay. Do you know anything about him writing a book with his notes? Did he ever mention it, or?
He looks quizzically at you. Says, "No, but anything of that nature would probably be in his study or in the library."
Okay, well,
The library, by the way, is the den on the ground floor, opposite the living room.
Just as we've been going round, you know that protection room?
Yep.
Are there any on the walls at all? Just trying to put it in a timeline, whether he knew about them beforehand, or whether it's something he's picked up whilst he's gone into the sanatorium.
There does appear to be one by the wall on the outside wall into Mother Henslow's sleeping area, her bedroom.
Okay.
And there also appears to be one outside on the wall of the master bedroom.
Which one do they look like? The one that I saw that was a mouth, or
No,
the one
the other one.
The other one.
Yeah, the one that looks like the. I think I posted it in Discord chat, didn't I?
Did you?
Yeah, I need to get you a copy of that for your records in the main game. The thunderstorm.
As I go around, I'll just sort of put my hand against people's arms and just point up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll keep an eye out for any as well.
Carruthers takes you on a tour of the house, right? So you have the kitchen, you have the screen porch and kind of like the storage area. The den is also it's kind of a mixture of a library and a smoking room. So there's like a couple of chairs looking out over the windows and over the grounds of the thing, and then a kind of a row of bookshelves on this back wall that are just crammed with books. There's the living room that's just a general living room, typical kind of several kind of slightly old, in some respects probably slightly rotting and decaying furniture. A little bit dusty. Doesn't look like it's had a great deal of use over the last few years. Same with the dining room. Quite a nice wooden table that is kind of the dampness that permeates the whole of the house from the swamplands has kind of got to. And they've tried to hide it with a very nice kind of white cloth, but the white cloth has kind of got that greyish tinge to it from unuse and dust that's just kind of settled over it. The kitchen definitely shows signs of use. There are pans and things stacked up quite neatly. A few things still in the kind of the wash basin. Generally, that shows some, regular use. From this, you get the sense that Mother Henslow probably hasn't left her bed for for several years now, and that Carruthers simply comes into the kitchen and the kind of the closet, the storage area, and then treks through the hallway up to Mother Henslow's room, and then back out to his sort of gameskeeper hut. That's about it.
Okay. Are the dogs in the house as well, or?
No, they're outside.
Right. Okay.
Currently under the front under the front porch, out of the way of the rain.
So I turned the lighting in the lane off.
Wow, was it getting to you?
No, it's making me fall asleep.
Oh, okay. It is one of those. I think it is one of those kind of supposed to be those soothing, sleep-inducing tracks.
Yeah.
I love falling to sleep with the sound of rain.
I do.
Or makes you want to piss.
Oh, it makes me want to piss. Yeah.
Yeah, one or the other.
Don't do them at the same time.
He says, "Well, I'll be in the kitchen, madam, sirs. If you need me, please call."
Thank you, Carruthers. We certainly will.
And he kind of leaves you in the hallway, down the downstairs hallway, kind of on your own.
All right, Ralph. And where do you suggest we start first?
I was thinking upstairs. If that's where he was having his episodes, is
I agree.
more likely where anything pertaining to what happened is likely to be.
Yeah, I'd say we start there, check the study, look for the book for that.
Yeah.
First and foremost, and then that's the obvious place. And then look for anywhere that could be it could be hidden, back of a closet or anything.
No,
Yeah.
do you fancy myself and maybe Margaret go and have a look in the bedroom? And that way you two can focus more on the den. Yeah, the library upstairs.
The den is downstairs. The bedroom is the study where we think they are.
Yeah, so I meant the 10 by 8 one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we are.
And Margaret and I will do the bedroom next door. His bedroom.
I thought his bedroom was the study.
No, his
Bedroom
bedroom
two was
was
the study.
outside of the study.
The small bedroom was a study.
Small bedroom is a study. The big bedroom is
A bedroom.
his bedroom.
Where's the Mrs.
Yeah.
Somerset's bedroom then?
Her bedroom is the sleeping porch.
Yeah, so the
Oh.
small one, the 10.8
I
by,
just said Sullivan, that's me. Whoops.
that's the study.
It's warm though. You know, her room was quite cloying, quite stuffy. The window shutters were all pulled too. So, I mean, it's damp anyway, but the house seems to be permeated with dampness throughout it. So it's not a great, you know, in that sense.
Wouldn't be helping her health.
No, absolutely not. But I don't know how advanced medicine was in the 1930s to know that things like damp and rot and fungus could cause respiratory problems. I know in the UK, they sent a lot of convalescing soldiers up to places like Blackpool and that area because they thought the air was kind of like had healing qualities to it because it was, you know, proper sea air kind of thing. But I don't know whether it was anything more than, you know, old wives' tales kind of thing.
Like an apple a day.
Yeah.
But it is good for you, sea air. The only problem is it's not good for your cars because it can rush.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I found out when I bought my sister's car and she'd been living in Bournemouth for like 3 years.
Mm.
Right, I'll head to the small bedroom.
Okay, you're going to head into the small bedroom. Okay. Heading into the small bedroom, there's not a huge... I mean, it's not a small room, but it's not obviously not a big room either. There is a desk pushed up against the window, gives you a kind of a view of the front of the house and out towards the roadway. There's a couple of obviously drawers. There's some kind of writing implements and things on the top of the desk, and there's a couple of bookshelves.
Does this symbol appear anywhere in the room? Like carved
Doesn't-
into the desk or the walls?
Doesn't
or-
appear to, no.
Okay. I'll take a look at the desk, see if there's any hidden
Okay.
compartments under the desk or in the drawers.
I'll make
Well-
my way over. I'll make my way over to the bookcase.
Okay, glancing around the room, there's a couple of things that jump out at you almost immediately as you walk in. Not, you know, the obvious kind of office accoutrements, but there's also a shovel propped up by the side of the door. There is a flashlight, a camera, a ball of twine, a jar of blue ink, and like a paintbrush stained blue, all neatly placed at one end of the desk. The flashlight and shovel appear to be, or not appear, they are indeed caked with mud. And where the shovel has been resting, looks like at some point some of the mud has kind of run down and has caked on the floor around it, showing that the shovel hasn't been moved for some time.
Okay, so he's been digging somewhere. Okay.
Look at the camera. Does it still have any film in it?
The camera is empty but of film, but looks to be in good working condition.
Okay.
No doubt there'll be film somewhere, so I may as well.
Yeah, might be with the book.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay.
So.
You're looking at the bookshelves, did you say?
Yes.
There are many books in here. These books in here are more of the fact kind of variety. In fact, glancing around the titles, there doesn't appear to be any fiction-based books in this room. There's probably a single bookcase, maybe sort of 3 feet wide, floor to ceiling height. So maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 7 or so shelves, just crammed with everything from anthropology all the way through to zoology, and other topics in between, things like archaeology, business, American finance, art history. And there's even 2 or 3 books that kind of grab your attention, the fables of the Celts or folklore of the Norse. There's dreams of a particular tribe of American Indians and all that kind of stuff. So there's probably one, maybe 2 shelves out of the 7 or 8 shelves on this bookcase that are dedicated solely to the occult. Probably a good dozen, maybe a little bit more titles in total.
Okay.
But looking over, you find one of the books in the occult section jumps out at you as you see the word Francis J. Hickory on the spine.
Okay, I'll pick it up.
Can anybody remember why that's relevant?
I'm just going to have a look at my notes now.
Cool.
See whether I can.
Ah.
Yeah, Frank Hickory knows where the book is.
Correct.
Letter of introduction.
Correct.
It's in the house somewhere.
Correct.
So
The book is called.
Book.
The book seems to be called "Communion Rites of Victorian Death Cults."
What a cheerful title.
It's about that kind of thick, actually. Quite a
Communion
decent.
rites of what was it? Sorry.
Communion Rites of Victorian Death Cults by Francis J. Hickory.
Okay. Take it out
Okay.
and page through it and see if there's any markings.
Almost as you open it,
Anything
a photo falls out onto the floor.
Okay. I think I thought that Francis Hickory was the actual
Groundskeeper.
the groundskeeper. I thought
Groundskeeper.
that was his
Yeah.
name. And
That's what I did as well.
Yeah, that's why he looked blankly at you. He didn't quite know what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So the front of the photo seems to show. I mean, the picture that I showed you and the picture on this is two different things because it's really hard to do. But it's essentially the same building, right?
Same house.
It's the same house.
Can we tell what aspect it is? Is it
Um,
the front? No, it doesn't look like the front because it's not got a driveway, has it?
Is that the rear onto the swamp?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it looks to be a river or stream running.
Okay. Do you have? Give me a second. Let's have a look at the character sheet. Okay.
I've got photography, if that'll help with
Yeah, I've got
putting
some as well.
that image with this, or
Okay.
cryptography? No, it's not.
Either architecture, a 1 point spend in architecture, or a 1 point spend in photography, and I can give you some more information about
I'll go with architecture then.
Okay. Give me a 1 point spend.
If I spend one in photography, will that help any more?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you can do.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So there's a couple of things. First and foremost, the between you kind of think it's probably a southeast aspect facing building, or the aspect that you see is the southeast aspect. There definitely appears to be some kind of stream, or maybe the edge of the swamp is visible from here. There also appears to be faded, scratched into the actual photograph #1. It looks like it was probably taken near sunset. And with Alfred, with your knowledge of photography, you are very confident that the camera on the table. Does Ralph have photography as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So both of you are very. You think, but Alfred, you are 100% sure that the camera on the table took this photo.
Okay.
So we were told that the author, that was a clue to get us to this, would know where it is. This is therefore telling us where the book is.
Yeah. Bottom left-hand corner, there's looks like a tie for a jetty or something.
That is on the back.
And this is number 1. So.
Okay. I think we need to ask the.
Check if there's any more books with those names on it.
Doesn't appear to be.
Okay. That was the easy way to check while we're here. Any more photos in the room?
There's a photo possibly from the same camera of Carruthers with his dogs.
Where did Carruthers say he was in the house? He was staying in the house and we could call on him.
Yeah, he would be out. He'd be downstairs somewhere. And there's a couple of photos of Mother Henslow in happier days, looking younger.
Okay.
I'll go and I'll call for Carruthers. I'll go down.
Okay.
I'll look through the desk while he goes away, see if I can find any more.
I'll take the photo with me.
See if I can find any more photos or those names mentioned already.
Okay. All right. You find Carruthers in the kitchen making some kind of sort of soup. He looks up. Sir?
Hey, yeah, excuse me. I wonder if you could help me. We found this, and we think it was meant for us. That's the back of the house, I assume. I'll show him the picture. you'll know these this ground as much as anybody else, I would have thought. And these names on the back, do you recognise them?
He looks. I can't say I do, sir. Are they related to the Henslows?
I don't know. Would Mother Henslow know?
Perhaps, but she is resting at the moment.
Could she spare 30 seconds?
You want to wake her up?
Absolutely.
He says, "Well, I'll be waking her up in about 20 minutes to give her lunch. If
That's fine. Yeah.
I will call you when she's awake."
Thank you. I'll go back upstairs.
No worries.
Looking out the window in this room, does that look down into something that looks like this? A river running past, or
No, so that looks more like it kind of opens up and looks out on the stone driveway.
so it's the front, it's the back we need to look.
So the house is not quite. So I guess the house is rotated a little bit north southeast. So the house is going to be rotated a little bit. So the front of the house probably faces maybe northwest.
Yeah. So the back of that image is looking at the sleeping porch area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go in the sleeping porch and disturb the Henslow.
Actually, if I look out of the dining room window downstairs while I'm there, what do I see out there?
It looks out into the swamp. It looks like the best you can see through the rain and things. The swamp is definitely encroaching on the house. In the distance, you can make out through the occasional flash of lightning. You can see the tops of stone buildings, kind of in the swamp itself, like they may be sunk or have been consumed. You think you can make out different spots where it looks like the tops of the railings, now rusted, are kind of sticking out above the water as well. It looks very much like the back of the house is being kind of consumed. Over one side, though, sort of, if this has got a southeast aspect, looking out behind it to the right-hand side of that aspect, you can make out a set of wrought iron railings that kind of trail off into the swamp, but there seems to be a number of gravestones in them.
Is this a crossover? Are we going to have to go and find a gate
No.
that we have to go and close?
Is Jelena there?
No, she's not there.
Anyone brought a wetsuit in case we have to go diving for buildings?
In the master bedroom, in Douglas's main bedroom, I'd just like to, with Margaret in there, ask Margaret to maybe search the closet.
Okay. A couple of things you notice. This room hasn't been looked at for quite some time. The ceiling is bowed, and there is water dripping from that ceiling onto the furniture. A lot of the furniture is kind of beyond damp, gone into that kind of rotting phase now. Becomes less and less, very much unusable. Going round as best you can to the closet, you kind of open the closet and you're met with a load of clothes that have mildew and mould all over them. Looking at the clothes.
No shelves in the dark.
Yeah, there are a few shelves, yeah. Like one end of the closet, there are some shelves.
You said headstones out there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a point.
Margaret, do you want to check those shelves?
Yeah, all right.
So checking the shelves, Margaret, they hold a bunch of sort of things that a typical gentleman would have. So there's a shelf with hats on. There's a shelf with shoes on, underwear, socks, that kind of thing, just kind of piled up on these. And most of it is damp. A lot of it is rotten. Anything that's leather is covered in a film of mildew and rot. This room has not been disturbed for some time. And that kind of goes in line with the dates on the letters, if you remember. He was obviously at the sanatorium, went home, and then back to the sanatorium. So you could quite easily see that in that period of time, this room, this part of the house has just been left to rot and ruin.
Is there anything else in the room?
You search around. There doesn't appear to be anything useful in here.
That'd be too obvious, I think. Worth a shot, though.
Unless he's hidden it underneath all his clothes.
You can spend some time carefully sifting through those clothes.
No thanks.
You can put your leather gloves on and do it.
Oh, I've got forensic stuff, haven't I?
Yeah.
I wasn't in the other room when they were in the study, but I think that blue liquid might be that stuff they put on to find fingerprints.
Okay.
Could be used for developing her film.
I
That's
don't
what I
think
thought.
they know about.
You said it was blue paint
It looks like a bottle
yeah.
of blue ink.
or blue ink.
Did they have? Oh, because you dust the fingerprint type of thing, but then that's not. I'm thinking UV lights, aren't I? But
Yeah.
I actually had them
Yeah.
back then.
Alfred, like I say, you said under. I think if he's been digging recently, and this is all in here, well, recently when he was last here, in the area that I think that picture is taken from, I can see swampland, but I can see headstones. Something that Carruthers has just said when I showed him the names. He didn't know who they were. Mother Carruthers, Mother Sloan May, but
There could be the names
there
on the
could be
headstones.
family members on the headstones.
Could well be. I'll go down to the dining room with my binoculars and see if I can make out any names from back here, or is it too far away?
No. It's too dark and too murky at the
Overgrown were
moment.
they as well?
And yeah, they're quite overgrown. They're also facing away in general, away from the house.
Okay.
Back to the book, the communal rites of Victorian death cults. To your eye, again, you're a little bit disappointed. This is not the grotesque 1909 edition, but the second edition, much watered down.
But I could find the first edition possibly in the library.
You could, yes.
Or I may have a copy in my shop if I really need to think about it, but okay. It's about 10 minutes now until we have to wake her up, so I think we should go and have a look. Bring everything that's here.
Yeah.
So what was it? It was
The
shovel,
spade, camera,
yeah, the ink,
Fine.
and the yarn.
Yep, there's a ball of twine
and
Yeah.
paintbrush, wasn't there? Was it a paintbrush or something that?
and a paintbrush. The paintbrush is very stiff.
Blue ink on the end of it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
How big is the paintbrush? Like,
Oh, it's only a small one.
right.
No, it's like
Like an artist.
like an artist brush. Yeah, nothing
Right,
big.
okay.
So
The other thing as well, the lid of the jar of ink has dried shut. The brush itself is not usable. it's just all matted and congealed and dried, and if you try and stamp it, it's going to break at the top where it's got less ink on and just stay as a big lump at the bottom. You can see I've done that recently, decorating the house.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Okay, I think we should take this and we should go and have a look at where this picture
Okay.
is taken from.
Who's grabbing the twine?
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay. There seems to be a blue mark on the twine. Yeah?
I'm gonna have to go.
No worries. Yeah, you look.
I'm getting like
Use for
double
measuring.
vision.
Yeah. Hold on one sec.
I'm getting like double vision, so I think I'm gonna.
All right. Yeah, you look like you're falling asleep, bud. So I hope you feel better tomorrow.
Go try and get to sleep.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, take it easy. No problem.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Don't worry.
That's okay. That's okay, Dart. Have a good evening, and we'll catch you later on in the week. Yeah. Yeah. Go rest up.
You guys.
Take it easy.
Yeah, blue markings could be measuring.
Mm-hmm. So this has got points that we have to walk to, or I don't know. This is proper Treasure Island.
1, 2. So there's 5 points. So 1, 2.
And
3,
there's 5
4.
points. How many markers are there? How many blue marks are there on the?
Are you going to unravel the twine?
I will do it when we're out there. There's a torch, isn't there? So.
We've got we've got a fight.
And I've got.
By the way, as you've been talking, I don't know if you noticed the thunderstorm has passed, and now it's just light drizzle. Far distance, you can hear the rumble of thunder still going, but your immediate vicinity, it seems to be easing up.
Ah, good. That's good. Okay, shall we pop outside?
Yeah.
You head outside.
Point it out to Joseph and Margaret and
Explain what we're looking
put it
at.
to them. What
No,
we think.
we'll come and follow too.
Okay. You head outside. It's squelchy underfoot.
I'll tell Carruthers, don't wake Mother up. We'll go and have a look with our eyes and not be lazy.
Margaret kind of says, if you don't mind, I'm going to stay here. I'll watch from the back door.
Yeah, that's fine.
She kind of loiters at the back door. You realise she hasn't come out. She's come out in more formal attire, not attire for trumping around the swamp, basically. So tights and dress and shoes rather than boots. Okay, so you head out into the back garden. Where are you going? As I say, from where you are, it's starting to get light in the sort of the distance, sort of in the east, as the weather is kind of heading sort of northwesterly. You can see the sunlight in the distance kind of breaking. Behind to the northwest, you can still see the occasional flash of lightning on the horizon. Kind of glancing around and sweeping the torch around, you can see a number of buildings, a number of outhouses kind of running down where the garden would have been. The last couple of them are submerged to different heights in the water. The walls themselves seem to disappear into the now watery, the marshland at the back. And even part of this, these iron railings surrounding what looks like a graveyard seem to disappear down into the marshland towards the end.
I'd say the graveyard. If it look at the aspects of the building, look at the direction, and we'll just go that way.
Okay.
There was a tree on the left hand side of the picture, wasn't there?
Yeah.
We'll look for that as well.
Okay.
There looks to be a post for tying boats or something nearby as well. See if I can correspond the two of them together.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
And it seems that the wharf or whatever for tying boats up is kind of a little bit further east along the embankment of what perhaps was the river than it looks from the photograph. But kind of with your photographic eye and with Ralph joining you, you can see the position looks like it's probably inside the graveyard, at the most, the furthest, the closest to the top railing on the left-hand side. And we'll just pause there for the others to come back.
Yeah. Looks like both of their screens are haunted at the moment.
Yeah, as chairs kind of flicker in and out.
And there's a big ghost just arrived.
Right.
Indeed.
Yeah. They look at Mary's screen, the flickering, it's yours was the same.
Oh, is it the chair?
Yeah.
Is it a person? Is it not? Is it a person?
See, I keep losing half of me. I
Back
think
of your
it's
head,
yeah, I think it's probably the lighting. If I turned the room lights on, I'd see more. But I'm quite happy to disappear.
That lightning is exactly 75 minutes long.
The track.
Yeah, the track is 75 minutes long. So, as I said, the best that Alfred can work out, with a bit of conferring with Ralph, sort of in the middle, you've got the big tree on your left-hand side. As you look towards the back of the house, you've got the rotting and ruined kind of wharf on the right-hand side. A bit further down from there, looks like half in, half out the water, looks like a rusted old car, succumbing to the elements, as it were. But the best you can work out, if you've got this, clearly it's probably family cemetery, family graveyard, whatever you want to call it, and the most northerly, so the left-hand side, most northerly stone closest to the building, left-hand side, is probably the point at which the photo was taken of the house.
I would half expect that to be Frank Hickering's graveyard.
There is nothing, you can't actually make anything out on the tombstone itself. It seems quite weathered and worn.
Quickly go around the others and look for those names.
Okay, so
I
you have to get...
I don't think the image has dropped into part 2. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want part... Oh, yeah, sorry, you haven't got... Hold on.
The back of the photo.
Yeah, because I haven't given you... I haven't given you access to those. And I'll give you access to the cemetery as well. There you go. So looking at it, you can make out David and Virginia Henslow, Grant Henslow, Mary Margaret and Anne-Marie, Zachariah and Millicent, James and Mildred, John and Mary Cockridge, Jonas Douglas Cockridge, and Douglas Henslow. The rest of them are all illegible.
So it's 8, 15, and 13.
Yeah.
8, 15, 13. So that's backward L.
8,
Then
15.
back to 1.
So is 1 near the gate, did you say?
Yes.
Okay. So it's...
So at the top entrance nearest the house, but certainly you kind of stand with your back to, or stand with your front to that tombstone, because it's quite a small one compared to some of the others. You can get a clear view of the house, and it looks exactly like the image in the photograph. You can kind of hold up the photograph and kind of compare it.
Right, so we've got 8, which is there, and then we go 15, then 13.
So we're starting near 20, are we?
No, you're up near 1.
Oh, near 1.
Yeah.
8, 15, 13.
Okay.
Back to 1.
So that bottom row,
So
18,
we're
19,
making a
20.
we're making a diamond then. We're making a diamond from 1.
No, but
So
don't forget,
8,
one,
15, 13, then back to 1 again.
wasn't one the house? Didn't have a #1 on the front of it.
That was place.
That was the
number 1. Number
Yeah,
1.
that
I
was
think
on the back
number,
of the photo.
Actually, you start
Oh,
at place
sorry.
number 1. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
so-
is where the picture was taken from.
Yeah.
So
It's
8,
1,
15,
8,
13.
15, 13, and back to 1. Yeah, is a diamond.
So 7's in the middle.
Yeah,
You've got it.
So
spot on.
if we take the
twine.
twine, start at 1, hold it at 1, and then unravel it. Are there
Wrap it
1,
around.
2, 3? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and wrap it around. See where the blue marker was. Also on those headstones is the blue
I was about to say,
transfer,
I was going to say the same thing as in blue on these headstones.
but it could have been washed off in all the years. But if we take it to them and see what the distance is, first see out where the black marks are. But I think we want to trace it from up to 8, up to 15, 13, and then 1 maybe.
Okay.
It's like a crucifix, really, isn't it?
Ironically, if you look at 15 and treat that as an arrow, it's pointing at 21, which is Douglas Henslow's grave. He's not died yet.
Yeah.
Ah,
Okay, so where do you think it is?
Possibly 7, but we want to do the markings on the twine match up with those graves.
Okay. Right, so which one are you starting with first?
1.
Okay.
Roy
Then you go
Helton,
into
8.
okay. Then you're going to
15.
Does the marking on the twine match with
no.
that length?
No.
Okay. Okay. So start at 8 and go down to 15. Does that match?
8. Grant Henslow to 15. John and Mary. Hold on. No. There's something, you've realised there's something slightly off about the photograph.
Can I spend a point of photography just to have a look at this photo and
Yeah, you can. Give me a, yeah, you can. Give me that 1 point to spend.
sorry, can we now?
Cool. You look at it again, and now you notice it. There's a slight, subtle, from where, sort of standing behind tombstone number 1, it looks almost right, but not quite. You realise now that the roof height in the photograph is too high.
If you stood on the gravestone, would it be right?
If he stands on the one behind it, looks like a better fit. Number 6.
Number 6.
Yeah.
So 6, 8, 15, 13, 6.
Dave, Virginia.
Yeah.
Correct.
So the middle of those would be smack in between 7 and 14.
However, now you're unraveling the string.
Yeah. We need to know where the
There
blue
are
goes.
random place knots in each of the bits of string in between the blue markings.
Okay. So, do they? I'm assuming they don't come. Does the length?
Oh
of the
my
cord
god! I just looked outside. Sorry.
Does the length of the card just sort of like cover the distance between 6, 8, 15, 13 and 6? So we don't have to
Correct.
wrap it round. Okay, so is the
And
blue...
Secondly, though
Is the
now
blue
you're
in
looking.
between?
No, the blue is on the tombstones themselves, and you can see faint markings of blue on each of those 4 tombstones.
Okay.
Sorry, there is enough twine to wrap it round, but you can wrap it round in such a way that the blue lines up with the blue that you can see on the tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So then when you run it from 6 to 8, right in the, not quite in the middle, sort of just past tombstone 7, you can see a knot.
Okay.
You wrap it round 8, run it down to 15. Just before you reach 15, kind of about level with 14, is another knot. 15 to 13, almost as you reach 13, is another knot. 13 back to 6, just above 13 is another knot.
So maybe hit the centre where all these 4 knots point to,
Yeah.
and let's dig. Is there enough twine then to maybe do that to make a cross section with the twine?
We can't draw on this, can we?
No, unfortunately not. Yeah.
Well, what? There's 3 of us. If we pick a point, if you hold the twine where it is, we'll fix it, and then we walk to each other from these knots, walking a straight line forward.
Looking at it, you think it is sort of, if you run a diagonal line.
It's going to be just below the tip of 7 and the top corner of 14, isn't it?
No, it's going to be just it's going to be just about 2/3 of the way up from 14, but in that gap just between 7 and 14.
Yeah, that's where
Yeah, I can't draw on the map. Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, I figured it'd be in between the graves. Yeah.
Okay.
Check the floor around there. Does it look like it's been disturbed at all?
It looks like squelchy, swampy mud.
Okay.
Let's get digging.
I'll take
Okay.
the torch out to whoever's hand's got it.
It is.
So
It is
you might.
getting. It is getting lighter.
Oh,
But
I
you
don't mind.
begin digging.
Yeah, I don't mind digging. I've been on a couple of field trips and stuff. So
yeah, I don't mind digging either.
Okay. You go down, squelch, and the problem you've got is, due to the inclement weather, etc.
Filling.
It is filling with water quite quickly. So you're sort of fighting against the water, but you manage to get a foot down, but you haven't found anything yet. Do you want to go further?
yeah.
2 feet down. And that's probably taken you half an hour or so to get through now. Still nothing. Further?
Yeah.
Yep.
3 feet down, and then you get a clunk as you've hit something.
Yar. Okay. Dig around it and then sort of like.
Okay, it's a bit squelchy, but you manage to pull out Henslow's box. For now.
A big black box.
Yeah, for now.
Henslow's big black box.
It is, yeah.
Did we pull out in time?
You
Is it
did pull
still-
out in time, yeah.
Yeah.
Say again?
I was going to say, does it still look fairly sealed?
Yes, it does. And actually, around the lip and the edges, there is a seal, a wax has been kind of dropped into all the thing to try and make it as watertight as possible.
Excellent.
Try and look it to some dry land.
No, well,
Okay.
let's get it inside first.
Yeah, let's get it back to the house.
Okay. As you you head back in, and Margaret's like, "Oh, what have you found?"
Don't know yet until we open it.
Whatever he buried.
Do we want to open it in front of Carruthers, or do we want to take it away with us?
No, we'll inform you, Carruthers, when we have a look through. But we'll inform the mistress.
Oh, okay. Shall we lounge, dining room, or up to his study?
Study. I would have thought, in case if there's anything here that references anything there.
Okay.
Try clear off as much mud as possible beforehand.
Yeah, you can do that.
Or possibly his bedroom, because that had a protection rune on it, didn't it?
Yes.
Maybe there.
But a very soggy roof.
Take my shoes off before I go in there.
Okay.
Leave the shovel outside.
No problem. Right, you kind of take this box, and it's this kind of size. It's not a small box by any stretch of the imagination.
Heavy?
Not particularly. I mean, it's not light, but it's certainly not as heavy as it could be.
Doesn't feel like it's got a lot in it.
It's not got gold in it.
It doesn't feel like... Well, it's hard to tell whether it's got a lot in it. There is some weight to it, but it's hard to tell whether it's full, a little bit.
Yeah. Anything feel like it's, as we're walking and it tilts a bit, anything sliding around type of thing, like give you an idea of the mass of the stuff at least.
Yep.
The thing sounds like it's rolling or...
Yes, there's a couple of things do seem to roll inside.
Okay.
You can hear a clunk sound. It sounds, a dull clunk as you kind of go like that. Something is shifting inside.
Okay.
So you take it up to the study. You clear away some of the space on the desk. Place it down on the desk. It is wax sealed.
I'll get my knife out and cut through the wax seal.
Okay, you get your knife out, cut through the wax seal, no problem. Some of the clasps have started to rust a little bit, but it is not impossible for you to open. With a little bit of care, you prise the 3 clasps. Oh, it only shows 1 here. There's probably 2, 1 on either side, and then 2 handles. You prise the 2 clasps open, and then you gingerly lift the lid off. Looking inside, the first thing that you're greeted with is what appears to be a rough, square piece of stone with some kind of glyph, a lidded eye, raised, stylized into a glyph. It looks like the piece of stone that it's kind of carved on is part of something bigger. A statue, a frieze, temple wall, some other kind of wall, but it's quite hard for you to tell. Ralph, do you wish to make... I'll give you an option for a 1-point occult spend to tell you some more information about what you're seeing.
Yes.
Okay. Spend your point. This is a much clearer version of the same symbol that you've been seeing etched in the walls. This is a more accurate representation of what those symbols are trying to do. And now you're looking at it and kind of turning your head a little bit. You think it's probably come from the Axum Empire. Perhaps some kind of artwork or something similar. So let's check.
Excellent, did you say?
Axum.
No, I heard of that.
You believe
Africa, wasn't it?
it's Northeast Africa and South Arabia. Classic antiquity to early Middle Ages. Based primarily in what is now northern Ethiopia and spanning modern-day Eritrea. I mean, that's modern. Those, I think Ethiopia was called something else, wasn't it, in the 1930s? Or was that Eritrea? I don't know. But yes, it is. They spoke Greek, and you suspect this is from the Axumite polytheism. So prior to them taking on Orthodox Tewahedo Christianity, which was post the mid-4th century. The actual image.
I will relay that and the details
Yeah.
of the paper that I read it in.
You believe that it is meant to block spying spells or mystical surveillance. And as I said, it is a better representation of what has been etched on the walls here and what you saw on the walls in the sanatorium.
It's the most wonderful piece of artwork.
Indeed it is. Okay, that's the first thing that you see. There is obviously things underneath it that it has been placed atop of.
Okay, I think I'll let Rolf take it out so I don't damage it.
The next thing you see appears to be some kind of stone dagger
Oh.
with a strange ivory wood-like handle. The dagger itself appears to be stained in a dark-coloured substance.
Yeah, blood.
I'm going to say that's blood. We're in the bedroom. Is the are the pillowcases?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take a couple of pillowcases and I'll put each of these in a separate pillowcase.
They're a bit rotten and a bit damp.
We may end up taking the box. We'll see where we are at the end of this. Okay.
Okay, so let me just make sure you've got that.
Take a quick look at this stone dagger. Won't touch it with my hands. Like I say, I'll take one of the pillowcases anyway, even if it's thinking it, and just sort of like handle it with that.
Yeah, okay.
Look for any markings on it to link it to whether it's the same area of the world or a different culture.
The dagger appears to come from... bear with me, I'm just scrolling through my notes.
If you need me to make a roll of don't know if the occult would have covered that, or you want another one, or maybe a point in archaeology or something.
Didn't Douglas mention something about a big, ugly stone carved knife?
Yes, he did.
Didn't it earlier?
Yeah.
He was using that, wasn't he?
Did Job pick it up and kill Stack with it?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
The stone dagger it does seem to resemble the description, or loosely the kind of, you get the sense that this is the dagger that Job picked up and stabbed Slack with. Absolutely. But it's odd. You don't get any other sense about the dagger at this point. You imagine you're going to need to spend a little bit of time researching.
Okay.
Certainly from your occult knowledge or even an occult spend right now, wouldn't be enough for you to figure out the dagger's purpose.
And did you say
Beyond,
did you say where did you say it was from? Sorry.
again, hard to tell.
Okay. No fixed culture yet.
No fixed culture. It could be several cultures, but what you do know is it's going to predate. Certainly will predate Christianity in terms of age. So could be of a similar kind of age as the stone tablet that was above it.
Two questions. Is the actual blade itself is stone, isn't it? With looks like it's been chiseled out with flint.
Correct. Yeah.
The hilt, is that like snakes eating each other, or is that just the?
It looks a bit like that. Yeah. Yeah. It looks like a couple of snakes consuming each other.
Full on Conan moment there.
Below the dagger, wrapped in cloth, is a notebook.
Jackpot.
Okay, carefully take that out.
Okay, you take the notebook out. It's classic notebook size, with that kind of size. Quite thick. The leaves do look well thumbed, like the pages look very well thumbed. There is a bulge though, and you can see it. Something has caused the front cover to bulge a little bit.
Something in it in the inside cover.
A small key.
Okay.
Does anybody have locksmith?
Yep.
Okay. It is a classic safe deposit box key.
Okay. Any markings on it to give an indication of where it's for?
Just a number. 37. Nothing else.
That'll be the locker number, I would have thought. And there won't be too many of those around here.
Hopefully something in the book will indicate where the key's for.
Also, inside the cover, between the key and the book itself, is a folded scrap of paper.
Is it a receipt from a bank?
Doesn't appear to be.
Damn it.
It appears to be another letter.
Okay.
Give that a read then.
I'll read it out to you in a second. Let me just make sure you have got observer rights to this. W. I've destroyed the notes I took during our investigation after compiling what I saw and what I remember into this notebook. The stone you might recognise, I took it from the barn that night. I think it was Ease. I know the thing watches me. If it wanted to hurt me, I think it could. I hope you're careful. I put our materials in a safe deposit box in the first bank of Long Beach before coming home. The key is here. Use it wisely. I know you will. Don't come for me. I don't think I have it in me anymore to do the work. I don't trust myself anymore. Thank you for coming this far. D.
That's handy. So it's Bank of Long Beach. Is there a Long Beach nearby here, or is this
The Long Beach.
the Long Beach?
The Long Beach.
Well, we have to go to. We were going to Cali anyway, weren't we? UCLA's over there.
Yeah.
So.
I'm assuming E is going to be Echevarria.
Echevarria.
Yeah.
That ties the dagger to that. So we were
Okay.
right there.
Having a look through the notebook or leaving it?
No, have a look through the notebook. That's going with us. Yeah, but have a quick look, see whether there's anything that jumps out. Ooh. Nice.
Where's Matt Smith? The hell? Oh my god. There's people falling into that massive pit.
No,
Mouth, more.
That's a mouth. That's the thing with. Oh dear.
1,000 mouths. But
Yeah.
if it's got 1,000 mouths out of that size, how big is this thing?
Look at the tentacles, and they seem to be sucking and ripping those people apart.
Okay. So,
Don't like it.
kind of looking through it, these are the pages through the book that jump out at you, where specifically sketches and notes about the sketches. There are obviously other pages in between, in terms of content. It seems to be a mixture of a diary and a sketchbook. One person may spend 24 hours studying the book thoroughly to get everything out of it as you can.
Me tied up for the next 24 hours.
I was going to say, you're the bookworm.
I mean, 24 hours over a period of time, right? It doesn't have to be non-stop 24 hours.
Yeah.
But, I mean, from here to Los Angeles is 13 hours.
Yeah. As
an example. So you could, depending on when you're going to travel. Oh, has the lightning started again? I think the lightning started again. Yeah, the lightning has started again. It actually stopped. So if you spend that time, you will gain a point of Cthulhu mythos.
My commiserations.
Shit. When does the sanity loss hit?
I'm just going to check, actually.
That's why I said commiserations, because they go hand in hand usually. Oh, okay. So this camera could have been Catherine's.
Yeah, she was a photographer.
Yeah, it says here Catherine knows her camera doesn't lie. Just seen when. So there's camera film somewhere.
I'm going to guess it's in the Sage Fuzzy box.
Yeah.
So,
And that's when I probably lose it, when I start developing the film. Well,
we can share that because we've all got photography.
Yeah, that's true.
So here's the thing. So you don't actually lose sanity for reading this book.
Get in.
You lose sanity for utilising your Cthulhu Mythos pool.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay. Sanity loss is generally permanent, unless you can. You have to use your drives and other things like that to rekindle your sanity.
Okay, I'm just going to put on my equipment then. Henslow's notebook.
You will, though, also need to make a stability test, because you will lose some stability as you go through the notebook. So do we want to just do that now? Make an assumption that over the next day or so, when you can, you're going to be kind of gleaning what you can from that notebook.
Yeah, can do.
Okay, so it will be a Okay, so you can gain 1 point of Cthulhu Mythos.
I need to add that on the edit sheet, yeah?
Yeah, but I bet you can't. So hold on, let me do it for you.
Yeah, it's not on there.
No. Hold on. Let's just have a look. I need to be able to spell it, don't I? Cthulhu Mythos. Now, where does that sit on the character sheet?
Academic, I would assume.
Academic order, that.
Yeah, I believe that is correct. Correct, it's academic.
Most important stat that's on all those. Who's got the highest fleeing skill? It's not me.
Not that great, no.
My
There you go.
0.
You should now have 1 point of Cthulhu Mythos.
I do, yeah.
Okay. As you read through the book, though, it does shake your stability. It's much worse than you were kind of expecting. A lot of the books that you've kind of read through from an occult perspective, they don't really go into this kind of detail about some kind of otherworldly being or deity in the sense that it's done. So you need to make what's called a 2-point stability test.
Okay.
So the way that works is this.
Just to set myself up for this, I'll be reading it with. I'll always try and read it. Looking, because I'm looking at my pillars of sanity, the aesthetic beauty of well-crafted objects. So I'll try and put it when looking at an object or a picture of an object or a beautiful picture. Or I'll space it up with the amazing capacity of intellect to create order out of chaos. I'll be reading other works in between this about points in history where chaotic moments have been overcome, and just to sort of like keep my mind clear.
Okay. So reading through this points. So it hits you. It's quite impactful, but it's not the worst it could be. So this would be a 2-point stability loss. You can add points from your stability pool to the dice roll. Your target number is for you. The target number is 3.
Okay.
But the recommendation in the rule book is never add more points than you stand to lose. So if you fail the roll, you will lose 2 points of stability. If you spent 2 points and failed the roll, you would lose 4 points of stability.
Hang on. So if
you fail the roll, so your difficulty number for this particular test for you is a 3. If it had been one of the other two reading it, it would have been a 4. It's downgraded for you because you have occult knowledge. Okay, so it's not as impactful, but it's still quite bad. So you need to get 3 or above on the dice roll.
Okay.
But if you add 2 points to it, you lose 4.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he won't, because he'll get a minimum of 3 then, once he won on the dice.
Yeah. If you fail the roll, you will lose 2 points of stability.
Okay.
If you make the roll, you lose no points of stability. If you want to guarantee you make the roll, you could spend 2 points of stability, so it would cost you 2 immediately, and then if somehow you're able to fail the roll, you would lose a further 2.
I may as well just make the roll then.
Yeah, because you lose 2 no matter what, don't you?
Yeah.
So typically, most rolls are 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But in this instance, because it's book related, and from a book point of view, you've read these kind of things, maybe not in as much detail. It's not as impactful to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
It would
so
be
just
a
okay.
4 or 5 for me, but not
Correct.
for
It would be a 4 probably. If there was some kind of indication around, something that triggered your war experience, then it would be a 5.
I think possibly if it was Margaret, who's religious and doesn't really come into this kind of stuff, it may be more severe because it's like.
Correct.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got you.
Okay, so
I'll go for a flat roll then,
you
because
can go for a flat roll.
if I
make a roll.
fail, I'll either spend 2 to make sure, or fail where I can't fail, so I'm losing 2 anyway. So I may as well just not like.
Yeah.
All right, let's make the roll then.
Okay.
Okay.
I've only spent 1.
Failed it. So, lose 2 points of stability. So just set your stability to 6.
Actually, it won't let me. Oh, do I need to do that on the edit?
I think you have to do that on the edit.
Can you get
Oh,
that
no,
back?
that sets my maximum, doesn't it?
Oh, okay. So let's just do this then.
What I'll do is I'll go onto.
There you go. Just do that. I've just done it for you. Just
All right. Okay. Cool.
spend the points and roll the dice, and then that just gets rid of it. Okay. So how does this affect you? Because at some point while you're reading this kind of the horror of what you're reading, the implications of what you're reading kind of washes over you. So as an example, it says you might twitch or stutter, your voice could rise a bit, or you could very explicitly stay in control. As examples of how a 2-point spend might affect you.
I think for Ralph, he would very much stay in control.
Okay.
He may go a little bit quiet while he's reading it and processing it.
Okay.
But his drive of he's got the thirst for knowledge.
Yeah.
He's just taking this in and soaking it in.
Okay. Cool. All right. Good. Okay. So we'll come to that. Over the next 24 hours, as a couple of days as you're kind of going through this book. I would say probably by the time you get to Los Angeles, you'll have been able to kind of digest the majority of what you're reading, etc.
Mm-hmm. Whilst we're upstairs with the in the study with the box and whatnot, in his he said he got rid of all his stuff, didn't he?
Yeah.
So there's not going to be anything on the bookcase that's pertaining to those cultures. So I may have to go to a library for that. And if there is anything on the bookcase, it'll be very high level, pointless stuff. So I may have to go to like a specialist library, maybe one at a university.
The book itself contains sketches of the 1924 investigators drawn from memory, over and over throughout the book, plus page after page of gruesome and violent images of figures dancing or writhing against huge licking flames. It also includes various drawings of multi-limbed, headless form with arms or tentacles or legs ending in dripping mouths. Many illustrations depict this form biting off heads or tearing human figures apart.
So, nighttime reading, basically. Just before you go to bed, read a little bit.
Exactly.
Coming to a cinema near you in about 50 or 60 years.
Yeah.
But we have our first point of Cthulhu mythos in the group.
Should we cheer?
Hey.
I'm not sure.
That camera, is there anything unusual about it? It's not special in any way or anything.
Not special in any way. No, it has a bit of a dent in one side.
Yeah.
It looks to you maybe it was dropped.
Yeah.
But not enough to damage the lens and things, but enough to kind of put a bit of a dent in the side of the camera itself. That's all that there is in the box. You get the sense that it was either the stone on top or the dagger that was kind of rattling against the side of the thing when you moved it.
Should we put everything back in the box for now?
No, I don't think we put it in the box. I think we keep them on our persons.
Okay, well, we need to take a stone out with us. This stone thing.
Well, that can go in somebody's coat or.
Yeah. How big is it? So I'm wearing a trench coat, but I don't know whether. Yeah, way too big to go in a pocket.
Bit too big to go. The knife you could probably put in a deep trench coat pocket, but the piece of stone, no. You would have to kind of wrap it up in a cloth and carry it out.
How about a briefcase?
I've got my backpack with me.
You've got your pack
Yeah.
with all your stuff
Yeah.
in, yeah. You hear a horn tooting.
Charles is back.
Yeah.
And indeed, Carruthers, you hear a light knock on the study door. Madam, says, it would appear your driver has returned.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed, Carruthers.
Right. If we put all these in our purse, I would say we'll still take the box. Okay. But looking at the bookcase, yeah, I'm going to take a random assortment of bullshit books. Yeah.
Okay.
Put them in it.
All right.
And then if there's something, I don't know, any kind of normal ornament that's in any of the rooms, just put one of those in it.
Okay.
And then we can seal the box.
Put the camera in the box, or because that was the woman's that's been killed.
Yeah, that
camera,
wasn't in the box originally. So yeah, you can do.
Yeah, that was with the shovel and things. So
okay.
Yeah, I've got a camera. I don't need another camera, but
you tidy up. You put stuff in the box. You grab a random assortment of books, including that 19 whatever it was edition of Communion Rites of the Victorian Death Cult.
Yeah, I'll write that name in my notebook.
Yeah. And you take your leave. Mother Henslow has fallen back to sleep after having her lunch. The cat is now sprawled out next to her, sleeping on its back. Carruthers thanks you for your visit, and the brief time that you spent with Mother Henslow seemed to have put her in a better mood today.
Yeah, we'll ask him to say goodbye to her.
Okay.
We didn't want to wake her. She did want to see us later, but she was asleep.
He says, very well. I understand. He walks you out to your car. You climb back in the car. Charles is, sir, I apologise for being a little early, but the weather, sir. I was a little bit concerned that you would perhaps find yourself outside, so I hastened out as soon as I was able. Though I had to wait a while. There was, unfortunately, a car had left the road just on the outskirts of the town and the city, and I got caught up in waiting for them to recover the driver.
That's fine, Charles. That's very good thinking on your behalf. Well done, sir.
Back to the hotel, sir?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Climb back into the car.
Put the black box in between on the back seat.
Yeah. You head 30 minutes sort of down the road. You're just starting to come towards the edge of savannah, the swamp and marshlands and sort of little farmsteads and things start to give way to the town. From a side road comes a dark blue or possibly black sedan. It comes up behind you, guns its engine, starts to overtake. And then it careens in front of your car. And that is where we're going to leave it tonight.
Yeah, that's 2 games I've had in a few days, which have left it on a cliffhanger.
It's like a Saturday morning matinee.
It is exactly like a Saturday morning matinee. It's also like a game of Cthulhu where we leave it on a cliffhanger and leave our audience wondering what the heck is going to happen.
Unless we do a modern day Doctor Who and show me what happens next week.
Exactly. But we're not going to do that. All right, so we'll leave it there.
Cool.
Fantastic. Thanks.
No worries. I'm good next week.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I am coming up to a week where I won't be available for both games, but I'm good for the next 2 weeks, I think.
That's fine. If you can pre-record your voice, that'd be brilliant.
I wish.
Yeah, modern technology, there's no excuse. You can do it from anywhere.
Yeah.
This is true. This is true. And I might still do the Mondays. I've got to get up early on the Tuesday morning to go to Sweden. So I might do a Tuesday with a hard 10 o'clock stop, or a Monday with a hard 10 o'clock stop.
Whatever suits you, but that's all that matters.
No problem. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. Apologies for the technology issues, but we got there at the end.
Very, very good.
And we will conclude Savannah next week and roll on to the next chapter.
If we survive.
If you survive.
We could be dead in a ditch halfway through next week.
Yeah.
The D&D game that I played on a Friday, he ended on a cliffhanger as we walked into a room and there's a death tyrant standing, hovering in front of us. It's like, thanks for that image. So we've got that to look forward to on Friday.
Brilliant.